How's it going, everybody? Frankie here from Mirth Films, and today we're going to be taking a look back at the Canon 70D, the camera that I believe changed my photography and videography career. The camera was originally released in 2013, and I got this camera in 2016 after a couple years of shooting the Canon T5. In senior year of college, I definitely got way more hooked on videography and photography. I was already going to school for it and definitely have been shooting for a little bit, but this camera was what made me work on my techniques, practice photography, different types of photography, and then also really dive deep into DSLR video. Because at the time, before mirrorless cameras, we used DSLR cameras, which isn't that long ago, but now with all the different things that mirrorless cameras can do, DSLRs are pretty much, I'm not going to say unusable, but it wouldn't be my first choice of a camera when I'm doing video. But the 70D could do both very well at the specs that it could do at the time. The Canon 70D had an APS-C size sensor, also known as a crop sensor, which is just slightly smaller than a full frame sensor. It was able to shoot full HD up to 30 frames per second and had a 20.2 megapixel size sensor. So you were able to capture decent photos through the Canon 70D. What I first loved about it was the ergonomics. It was a huge step up from your basic Canon Rebel line camera. I shoot Canon and I shoot Sony too, but the grip on this camera is comparable to the Canon R5, and it's actually more comfier than the Sony a7 IV. What also makes the Canon 70D great for video was its autofocus capabilities. It had a Digic 5 Plus processor with that Canon dual pixel autofocus, which at the time was unbeatable when it came to other camera manufacturers. Another great feature about this camera is that it had a flip out screen. And not only was it a flip out screen, it's fully articulating, and it is a touchscreen as well. So it was responsive, it was bright, it was a really nice feature because having a screen that's just stuck to the back of your camera really limits your shooting. So being able to shoot low with this touch out screen was really nice, or if I wanted to go up high, which is awesome because if I wanted to get a crowd shot when I was shooting concert photos, I was able to a lot easier. The Canon 70D also took LPE6 batteries, which at the time are the same batteries that the Canon 5D Mark III and Canon 60 use. So if you did upgrade to a full frame camera, your batteries were the same type of batteries as the full frame camera. So you didn't have to buy extra batteries if you did make that upgrade. While it didn't have a headphone jack, the camera did have a mic jack. So if you wanted to use an external audio source like a Rode Shotgun mic, or even just a 3.5 millimeter lavalier mic, you could do that with this camera. Another great thing about this camera is the Canon color science. It's one of the best color sciences even today in mirrorless cameras. Canon just produces beautiful images out of its body. I also really need to thank this camera because it was the camera that got me out of shooting in auto modes. I would mainly shoot in aperture priority when I shot on the Canon Rebel T5, but after learning the settings and finally throwing the camera into manual mode, this camera definitely helped me excel with understanding shutter speed, ISO, and aperture, the exposure triangle, the most important part of photography. So when I was graduating from college, I was just getting into concert photography. That is one aspect of my career that I'm very proud of, along with videography too. And this camera was one of the first cameras that I ever shot a wedding with, went into a concert photo pit, and not just a bar, but went into an amphitheater-sized venue and shot photos. One of the first concerts I was able to shoot at one of the larger venues that we have here in upstate New York was SPAC, and Tedeschi Trucks Band was the band that I was able to shoot my first amphitheater show. While going into the photo pit at that concert venue, I had the 18 to 135 millimeter lens, which came stock with the camera if you didn't get a body-only version. The 18 to 135 lens is a great beginner's lens, and the lens was very versatile because the range 18 to 135 is such a wide spread. As a beginner, this was a great camera to learn the craft, learn my techniques. So everything from the rule of thirds, managing sound, getting my exposure right, using the right shutter speeds for video, taking concert photography photos at the right shutter speed or experimenting with different shutter speeds, and again, not worrying about the focal length. Because when you get further into your creative career, then you're really gonna realize what the different type of focal lengths that you're gonna need to produce the images that you wanna produce. Having an all-in-one camera is amazing. That's why I love the 70D the most. If you like this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to Mirth Films on YouTube. My name is Frank Cavone, and thank you for watching this video.